everyone, welcome back, and thank you for joining us on the Live Unreal with Glover U podcast, where every week Jeff Glover will dive deep into the questions that you're asking. He understands the challenges you are facing on a day-to-day basis because he still works every day on the front lines of real estate, with him and his team closing over 1,000 homes per year. In today's episode, Jeff will share with you the 24 things to do during the Corona shift. You will learn from Jeff what you need to do to make it through and thrive in today's situation. Now, let's hear from Jeff Glover.
Okay, welcome. Thanks for joining me. We are jumping into the 24 things to do right now in a Corona shift. This is serious business. You know, when I was thinking of a title, I thought, okay, well, let's just keep it simple. We know what's going on. We know that the coronavirus is a serious thing, and we know it's different in each part of the country. People are reacting differently. People are behaving differently. Real estate agents are responding differently to this. And so we decided to pivot this message because there's a lot of information out there, and I won't even call it misinformation. I'll just call it opinions. There's a lot of opinions out there today on the coronavirus, how it's affecting the real estate market, how it's going to affect our business. And I wanted to not necessarily even set the record straight. I just wanted to put out there how we're handling it. You know, there's a lot of very qualified people that have been through many shifts before that are giving their opinion and their advice on the how to make it through and how to survive and thrive in the coronavirus. But what I'm noticing is a lot of those people aren't on the ground right now. They're not getting the calls from clients saying, you know, what do we do? How do we get our homes ready for showing? How do we get our offer accepted right now? How do we tour homes? What do we do when buyers are walking through our home? You know, buyers are losing money in the stock market, so they're changing their mind. So again, not that anyone's giving necessarily bad advice, although it seems like everyone out there is giving some sort of advice today. And I'm not giving you advice on how to stay healthy and how to actually social distance yourself from everybody. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to give you 24 things that we're doing right now that we plan to implement in the next 30, 60, 90 days as we go through this. Could last 2 weeks, could last 2 months. Obviously, if you pay any attention to the media, you know that changes depending on who you listen to. So I wrote down some reasons. I first want to get into, you see behind me, the Relead banner. This is actually an ongoing course. This is a free course, 11:30, happens every Wednesday. If you wanted to join us regularly, you can go to gloveru.com/relead, and you can join us on this every week at 11:30, totally free to anyone. Share it with anyone you want. So we decided to pivot today because there's so much talk around the coronavirus, and I told our staff, I really don't want to give a professional opinion. I'm not qualified to, first of all. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a scientist. I haven't been studying what's going on in different parts of the world. I've been paying attention a little bit here and there, but for the most part, for those of you that know me, you know I've probably been keeping my head down and going to work every day. Now, of course, I'm sensitive to reality and things that are happening in the world today, but I'm also not afraid of it because you can't be afraid of it. You can't let it stop what you need to do every single day because you still need to provide for your family. You know, your business needs you, your associates need you. So here's the deal. Today's topic is for real estate brokers, owners, and leaders who are leading teams. And today is also for real estate agents. You know, the Relead program that I alluded to is mostly for leaders of teams, leaders of companies, leaders of organizations. But today's topic is for both. So if you're on this and you're a real estate broker, real estate leader, my hope is that you would take this and share it with your agents. And if you're an agent on this, well, good for you, because I hope that you're taking a little bit of extra time right now to brush off on some of those skills and things that you're going to need to get through this. We've got a couple different cameras set up here. So if you're wondering why I'm not looking you straight in the eye, if you're over here, if you're on Glover U, if you're on my personal page, that's because we've got a main camera that I'm looking at. So if you're wondering why I'm looking off camera. Okay, so I wrote down 5 or 6 reasons why we're doing this, and then we're going to get into the 24 points. By the way, this should last about 40 minutes, maybe 45 minutes last to get through all this. If we have to go longer, we'll go longer. You know, I know we're in uncharted territory right now, and we got to do everything we can to not just make it through the day, but to be able to provide to our families and not see a step back in business right now. So I wrote down why we're doing this. Number one, you heard me allude to it a little bit. I wrote down there's too much confusion and messages from people not taking calls from scared current clients, scared past clients, scared agents. What I want you to do is I want you to identify with one or two messages and follow them. All right. The biggest mistake people can make right now is hearing a message over here and then going and listening to something else and going and listening to something else. You get analysis paralysis. You freeze. You don't know what to take action on. You don't know what to believe. And I'm not saying that I got it all figured out. I mean, this is to some degree, obviously the coronavirus is new for all of us, but I've been through this before. I've been through a significant shift before. I've been through a recession before. Why should you listen to me? Well, number one, I've been doing this since 2003. We opened the doors. A lot of people don't know this, even though I've been in real estate since '03 and I was a manager, recruiter, trainer, and so forth. We decided to open the doors to our business January 2009. I mean, if you look back at what they considered the recession, I'm pretty sure there was 1 or 2 months that they would identify as the very bottom. We decided to open up a business time, and it was January 2009 in this building that I'm in right now that we opened. You could even go back if you were to Google CNBC powerhouse Jeff Glover. I was on national TV as we came out of the recession, talking about what took place in the recession. So we've been here before. I would say that there's a lot of qualified people out there to share with you information like this. The difference between myself and the rest is I'm on the ground with you every single day. I'm on the ground with your agents. I'm on the ground with your people. I'm getting calls from clients right now on how we're going to handle this. Number two, I wrote down the need for real actionable ideas and strategies it is the highest need right now. Think about the business plan you wrote for this year. Do we need to make some adjustments to it? Does your production adjustments need to take place? You know, you all put together great plans in October, November, and hopefully you were visiting those plans once weekly, once monthly, however often you frequent your plan. Something in that plan is going to change. I'm going to encourage you to put together a 90-day plan. So you have your full-on, your year-long business plan. I'm going to encourage you to put together just a 90-day shift plan, all right? Because we don't know, this could be 60 days, it could be 2 weeks, it could be 90 days. I want you to put together a separate business plan just for the next 90 days, all right? Next, I wrote down, why is this important, or why are we talking about this? There's a false sense of security right now for those that are busy. Now, we can't be naive to the fact of what's taking place and what's going on. We know that there's a lot happening in the media. We know that there's mixed messages, but here's the deal. I'm talking to a lot of agents, including agents on our team, who are having a great week. Last week, they had, new listings, new sales. Even on our 7:30 call this morning, people were reporting new contracts signed, new buyers offers written. I don't want you to think that this is how it's going to continue. And let me tell you what I mean by that. Okay. I'm concerned what your business is going to look like in 2 to 4 weeks, because everything in this industry shows up 30 weeks after the actual activity. So for those of you that are like, Corona, what? This is great. This is busy, which I get it. I want you to put a positive message out there. Don't get me wrong. I think that's important. You don't want it to affect your mindset. But for those of you that are thinking, this is great, this isn't going to affect my business at all. Remember, the business that you have right now is because of your efforts 30 days ago. So what I'm most concerned about is the lack of calls that are coming in of people that want to list. I'm most concerned about the lack of leads that are coming in from people that want to buy. So it's going to show up 30 days from now. I'm not concerned right now with our agents. All of our agents are having great days, great weeks. It's like nothing even happened. I'm not concerned about right now. I'm concerned about 30 to 60 days from now when people look up and say, I don't have any listings. I don't have any pendings. What's going on? And then they're looking around at some agents that are busy and wondering, why is that guy busy and I'm not, which we're going to talk about in just a bit. So don't be fooled by the false sense of security that you have right now if you're busy. If you're busy, it's because of what you did 2, 4, 6, 8 weeks ago. You want to be busy 2, 4, 6, 8 weeks from now, then guess what? We're going to have to get to work, which we're going to talk about. I wrote down question. Are you busy? Think about your busyness right now. Are you busy servicing the business you have, or are you busy with all the new leads you've generated? Because what happens is when we go into panic mode, when there's a recession, we've been through this before, we go into panic mode and we go into protect mode. What does that mean as a real estate agent? That means most real estate agents, what do? They go into, I got to do whatever I can to keep this together. I got to do whatever I can to get this to a closing table. I got to do whatever I can to service these buyers and get them under contract before things get worse. We instantly go into protect mode. Well, what we don't realize is when we go into protect mode, guess what ends up happening? We actually forget to generate new business. And it's not that it's intentional. It's not that it's on purpose, but you're so focused on everybody values security. You want that security for your client, for yourself, that you forget to generate new business. Next, I wrote down, Your people right now are counting on you. Why we're doing this. Your people, if you're leading a team, running a brokerage, your people are counting on you. By the way, your clients, all right? So this is also for real estate agents. Your people, which could be your agents or your clients, are counting on you to give them decisive direction. Okay, one of the greatest traits of a leader is the ability to be confident in your decision and what you present. Okay, decisive in your advice, even by the way, if you're not 100% sure it's going to work. We're not all 100% sure of what we are doing every single day. You have to be confident. And by the way, if you're saying, well, wait a minute, I don't want to give bad advice. By the way, you give advice based on gut, based on experience, based on data, based on evidence, based on your peers. Okay, there's going to be two types of agents 60 to 90 days from now, by the way. Those that are having gangbusters May and June, meaning record months, and there will be agents wondering what the heck is going on. Why is this? That's because the people that are making contacts right now are going to end up having better success than the agents when they're looking up and saying, well, wait a minute, why is he having a busy May? Where did my business, where's my May business? Well, that's because when you're busy in May and June, it's because your efforts in March and April. There's going to be two types of agents, those that are gangbuster crazy busy and those that are wondering, why don't I have this business right now? I wrote down prior recession evidence shows us there's actually more to go around. How is this possible? Think about that. Evidence in the past shows us that there's actually more to go around. Watch this. In 2006, the National Association of Realtors went from 1.4 million members in 2006 to 900,000 members in 2012. That's a 37% decline. Watch this. NAR in 06, 1.4 members. In 2012, 900,000 members, a 37% decline, which means, watch the sales. Sales those years went from 6.5 million nationwide to 4.6 respectively, which is a 28% decline. Okay, we had almost 40% decline in real estate agents and just a 25-30% decline in sales, which means there was actually more to go around for those that were working at it every single day. So believe it or not, there's actually evidence that shows when things get bad, there's more to go around for those that stick in it. Finally, before I get into the 24 points, in addition to sharing what we're going to do, at the end of this session, I'm going to give away a very valuable gift. There isn't a catch. There isn't, drop your email here, or, we're not going to do anything that you have to buy a ticket for. I'm going to give away something that's very valuable, something that costs several people, several hundred people, thousands of dollars to get. All right. We were charging for it. We're not charging for it anymore. I'm going to give that to you at the end of the session. All right. So let's go into the 24 things we're going to do. Now, these aren't hypothetical. These aren't, maybe. These aren't things that maybe you ought to look into. If somebody were to ask me a question, Jeff, what are you doing for your team in this? These are the things, okay? And I'm going to walk you through each one of them. So grab a pen and paper if you would. I'll give you a minute to do so. And while I do that, I need to flip on the Wi-Fi here because I just noticed that we lost connection. So stand by. Okay, that should come back on. Sorry, guys. Okay, we're back. Okay, 24 things that you should be doing right now to take action and not only come out just okay with a couple, scrapes, bruises, but come out on top. Ready? I wrote down number one. I want you to watch your thoughts and protect them. Watch your thoughts and protect them. As basic as it sounds, it really starts here. And it starts with what you buy into. This is serious and must be taken seriously. However, you can't buy into this idea of, well, what are we going to do? It stunts your growth and I promise will hurt your production long term. For example, the last 2 days on our 7:30 call, well, I guess last 3 days, we have an accountability call every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. On the call, I ask our associates, how many contacts did you make? How many appointments did you set? How many appointments did you go on? How many contracts did you sign? And wouldn't you know it, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, almost identical results to last week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. People are making contacts. People are getting contracts signed. It really sounds like, if you were to chime in and listen to that recording, it really sounds like business as usual. Well, then I hang up on my 7:30 call, and at 7:45, I get a message from someone in the industry. Oh my gosh, we got to take this seriously. I cannot believe, it's dark as days. The world is coming to an end. I go from here to here, just like that, because I decided to open a message and get involved and get responding to someone that's concerned with what's going on. Don't get me wrong. You have to be concerned with what's happening today, but that doesn't mean it determines your results. All right. I want you to hear that loud and clear. It doesn't matter what takes place. It doesn't have to determine your results. All right. Speaking of media, so I wrote down, buyers are still writing offers. Sellers are still signing listing contracts. I look at my message, turn on the news, and instantly my mindset's affected. Well, speaking of media, number two, I want you to have, so number one is watch your thoughts and protect them. Number two, I want you to have a news social media plan for each day. Think about this, a news and social media plan for each day. Okay, so number two, speaking of media, I want you to have a news and social media plan for each day, meaning it goes in your schedule when you're on it and intentional about what you're doing with it. I recommend limiting your time spent on social media and watching the news combined to, ready, no more than 90 minutes a day. Okay, I don't want you spending more than 90 minutes a day on social media or watching the news. Okay, as hard as it might be to start, by the way, I also don't want you to start your day with social media. All social media and news take place after dinner, 5, 6, 7, 10, 11, I don't care what time. I know in this business, in this industry, you have to be on social media. I want you to save that all for after 5, 6 o'clock. All right, now, well, what about lunch? Fine, you can check it on your lunch break. I don't have a problem with that, but do not start your day with social media. Do not start your day with CNN or Fox News. All right, you can get that all later at dinner time. If you want to watch the dinner time news or the nightly news, that's fine. You want to scroll through your news feed, that's fine. I can't tell you how crucial this point is. No social media right now to start your day. It is the difference from a 7:30 call wherever you, oh my God, listing sales, to, oh my God, what are we going to do? Do not start your day with social media. That's number two. Number three, get active in your community right now. Go meet your neighbors physically. Yes, observe social distancing. You're going to have to use your best judgment on that. Why not host, I made a silly post last night, why not host a social distancing party? Hey, we're going to put a party on together because we can't go to a restaurant. We're going to grill out, but we're going to stay 6 feet away from each other, right? Be responsible, okay? I'm not encouraging you to spread any viruses. Make sure you're following all the procedures, but why not create a neighborhood Facebook group? By the way, if one exists, why don't you emerge as the leader? Be the resource, organize things, okay? Don't be salesy, don't ask for business. They'll ask you eventually. By the way, they're gonna ask you questions about how's this affecting real estate, all right? Why couldn't you send in press releases to your media right now on, hey, you guys are probably wondering what's going on in the real estate market. We did that. We got a call from a radio station. They asked us questions about what's going on. Hey, here's how we're handling showings. Here's how we're handling buyer offers. All right, so get active in your community. If there isn't a Facebook group already started for your neighborhood, start one. Be vocal, invite people. I mean, we went as far as sending out postcards to the neighborhood to get people into a particular Facebook group. If there already is a Facebook group for your neighborhood, be vocal right now. Again, you're not pushing for business, you're not being salesy. You're gonna have some people that ask you, what's going on in the market? What's happening with our home's value, all right? By the way, point number 4, so number 3 is get active in your community now more than ever. Number 4 is learn and master the following scripts. Ready? Learn and master the following scripts. And I'm doing this a little bit differently. You know, normally if you've taken a class of mine on scripting, normally, you know, I have a whole script for you and we write out answers, we chant them, we role play. We're not going to do that right now. What I'm going to do, I'm going to ask you to write these questions down and I'm going to give you answers to the questions because the answers to the questions will turn into a script. So for instance, the question that is coming up a lot from current clients right now, again, if you're on the ground working with sellers, working with buyers right now, these are 5 or 6 questions that I'm hearing and how I'm answering them. Ready? How are you handling showings right now? Well, I'm handling showings by offering my clients, if possible, Clorox wipes, hand sanitizer, if you can get them hand sanitizer, virtual walkthroughs. having sellers walk the home with them if they feel more comfortable, because they're wondering, what do we do right now? We don't know who's walking through our house. We don't know what they have, right? Fine. You know what? Why don't you be present for the showing? Keep a safe distance. If you observe that they touch things, which by the way, people are being mindful of that, hopefully, then wipe that down later. If you feel that strongly about not having your home being shown right now, well, then we'll restrict showings. But for gosh sakes, get a listing contract signed, post-date it. Do not remove things from the market. All right. Get a letter from the seller saying we don't want showings right now from the coronavirus. All right. You can have an active listing in most MLSs as long as you have a letter from a seller saying why they don't want it to be shown. So you better have answers to the questions. How are you handling showings right now? What about how are you meeting with buyers? We're doing our buyer consultations virtually through Skype, through Zoom, through FaceTime. Why not do your buyer consultation instead of face-to-face in an office or in their home? You can do it over the phone. You can do it through Zoom. You can do it through FaceTime, but you better have an answer for that, because guess what? A seller, when you're on appointment today, they're going to ask you, how are you checking these buyers? How do we know that these buyers are safe? How do you get paperwork signed right now? Well, you guys know the answer to that. We're mostly digital today anyways, right? What about the answer to this question? Who's even moving right now? You better be ready to answer this one. Buyers who have to buy and sellers who have to sell. Unfortunately, there's still divorces, there's still deaths, there's still financial strain, maybe even more financial strain. Who's even buying right now? More than ever, investors. Investors will come out right now more than ever and take advantage of a market like this, which we're going to talk about that in a second. Who's even moving right now? In a normal market, you have people who want to sell and buy and people who have to sell and buy. In a market like this, unfortunately, the want tos are going to go away. The have tos are still going to be there. What about the answer to this question? Why should I sell now? Well, there's less competition from other sellers. There will be a mad rush of sellers hitting the market. You better believe it, May, June, whenever they give the all clear, there's going to be a mad rush of sellers hitting the market. And guess what? When there's a mad rush of sellers hitting the market, you have a better chance of getting lost in the shuffle. Do you really want to get lost in the shuffle? Well, it's all supply and demand. Okay, there's not a lot of supply right now because there's not a lot of sellers putting their homes on the market. And the demand from buyers is still strong, because think of all those buyers who were out looking at homes in the beginning of March who need to find something. They need to be in something. So don't you want to be one of those sellers that has only the have-to buyers walking through? Of course you do. Well, but why should I buy right now? Well, why should I buy right now? 2 words, ready? Interest rates. Why should you buy right now? Because of interest rates. Okay, I don't have a crystal ball, but what I do know is that rates fluctuate based on demand. Demand goes up, interest rates are going to go up. When things go gangbuster crazy, May and June, the interest rates have to go up. By the way, we already saw them go up slightly when there was that huge refi boom just 2-3 weeks ago when everyone was hearing 2.7%, 2.8%. Mortgage companies had to increase their interest rates because there was so much demand. Interest rates, that's why you should buy now. And then finally, how can we conduct closings right now? We can do separate rooms, separate closing times, social distancing, sanitizing wipes, whatever. Closings are still taking place. They have to take place. Number 5, your best client right now, by the way, will be investors. I just mentioned it. I know what you're all going to say. Oh my gosh, depending on what market you're in. You know, I'm in Detroit. So when we hear the term investors, our agents instantly think, oh, $30,000 houses, $40,000 houses. I'm telling you, your best client right now is actually investors, okay? Why is that? Because they're immune to stuff like this. I mean, you see people posting all over Facebook right now, the Warren Buffett quote, right? What does he say? I wrote it down. Investors get greedy when people get fearful, all right? Investors get greedy when people get fearful. So don't be surprised if you get lowball offers on your listings, which, by the way, you should prepare your sellers for. There's going to be more investors that are making offers on listings. And number 2, you should do what you can to get in front of investors. Where can you find them? Facebook groups, landlords of rented properties, your CRM. You can send out a blast to your CRM right now, specifically addressing investor opportunities. You're going to get responses. People like getting things for under market value. So make sure you use some of those buzzwords. Next, I wrote down number 6. Past clients and sphere of influence. What was your formula for this group this year? Everyone who's been following us for a while, you know we've been talking about sphere of influence past clients. You know we've been talking about adding value to this group. All right, that's going to be part of what we're giving away at the end of this session. What is the value prop that you had planned for your SOI past clients, and what needs to change? I mentioned in the beginning, you put business plans together with what you're going to do to add value and build your data. How are you going to build your database and you're going to add value to it? You need to change that. There needs to be some adjustments made to that. So go back to that group. All right. Again, I'm going to give something away at the end that's going to help you with that. Next, number 7, I wrote down, take this as a chance to break into a new source. Okay. I mentioned before, we opened the doors in 2009. I didn't know any different. For sell by owners and expireds was our biggest source of business for years and years, up until really the last 4 or 5 years ago. Guess what? When there's a talk of a recession and talk of a market shift, our value as realtors increases. Guess what? For sale by owners need us more. Expireds need a different approach. This is an opportunity to break into a source that you might not normally be comfortable with. Well, yeah, but I'm not comfortable with that source because everyone's working that source. Not right now. Not as many agents are going to be working right now. Take advantage of that. Number 8, I wrote down, take this chance to implement and learn. You've probably been to conferences. You came to our summit, maybe in Orlando, or our retreat last summer. Go back and review those notes. Now more than ever, you got a little bit of extra time. Okay, we're going to talk about that in a second. What did you circle or star that you haven't implemented yet? You get the notes. You see people all the time. You want my notes? You want my notes? Go back through those notes. Circle, star, revisit what you circled and starred. I wrote down a quick ideas. Implement a 5-star review program. You better believe consumers are going to be a little bit more apprehensive of who they hire based on reviews. So guess what? You better put some time into increasing your online reviews. What is your program for that? At the summit, we covered our entire 5-star program, which we're going to share with you. Go over your listing and buyer checklist. I wrote down the checklist include communication points to the client. Is it just action items behind the scene? Have you built in checkpoints to enhance the consumer experience? This would be a great time to do that. It's going to be a little bit slower right now, right? Have you gone in and put in some checkpoints on how you can improve the consumer experience? Not for just right now, but for when we come out of this. What about a weekly or monthly newsletter for your clients? When is the last time you've made some change to that? Maybe your content needs a change. Consider the next one that you send out being a special edition, talking about how this is impacting the market, how showings are happening on your homes, how buyers are still buying homes. Master your CRM. If you haven't had a chance, I know there's a lot of great CRMs out there. I know we've got people on from tons of different brokerages. If you haven't had a chance to input your data, input your contacts, and learn your CRM, this would be a better time to do that. I wrote down number 9. Double the amount of people you talk to daily. All right. By the way, if that's too aggressive, maybe you add 5 contacts, you add 10 contacts. That will be, mark my words on this, that will be the single greatest difference between those who are going to succeed at a high level once we come out of this and those that are going to look around wondering why you're succeeding at a high level. Because there's going to be 2 types of agents. Agents that wait until they give the all clear to start going back and working their leads, to start going back and working expires, to start going back and working Facebook leads and working for sale by owners. And there's going to be agents that are working them right now. Now, mind you, your conversion rate will drop right now. Okay, it's somewhere in here, so I'm probably getting ahead of myself. Oh no, boom, we're already there. Expect your contacts per hour to increase, but your conversion to decrease. Why is that? Well, because more people are going to be saying, more people are going to use this as a reason. It's kind of like the holidays. Think about all the people that tell you, we don't want to do anything because of the holidays. We don't want to do anything because of the holidays. That, by the way, that's kind of my mindset towards what I'm getting ready to hear when I'm making these calls to expireds. I'm going to hear, we don't want to do anything because of coronavirus. We don't want to do anything because of coronavirus. I'm not offending them. I'm not being too pushy with them. I'm making a note and I'm following up with them in 2 weeks. Because guess what? In 2 to 4 weeks, when the agent that didn't work right now goes to follow up with them, I'll already have a relationship with them. All right, so that is going to be the single greatest difference between those that succeed at a high level when we come out of this and those that don't. And it's the people that are making the contacts right now. Even if they're not turning into contracts or even if they're not turning into appointments, you can still generate leads. You can still talk to people and find out who's going to do something at some point in time. You're going to be much further ahead of the game if you do that. I wrote down number 10, evaluate your expenses and cut out what's not working. If you're buying a lead source or you subscribe to a program that has a low ROI for you, now would be a good time to reevaluate that. All right. I was having a call with our coaches just before this, and I said, you know what? I'm not necessarily a huge fan of just saying, hey, we need to cut our Zillow spend, right? We're hearing a lot of people saying, oh yeah, I'm cutting our Realtor.com spend. I'm cutting our Zillow spend. Well, let me ask you a question. If you're an investor and you wanted market share and you wanted to be in a better position when we come out of this thing, meaning you want to be in a position to grow your asset and grow your ROI or improve your return on a piece of real estate, a stock, a bond, or whatever, why would you necessarily sell right now? Why wouldn't you hold? Why wouldn't you hold on to that market share, right? I know a lot of people are saying, well, you know, we're going to get a lower return on our investment. We're going to get a lower return. By the way, your cost per lead is definitely going to go up. No doubt. Plan on that. Your ROI is definitely going to go down on things like Zillow and Realtor.com right now. That's why you just had the CEO of Zillow say, oh, we're giving everyone, all current clients are getting half off, or there was something I read this morning on that. But that doesn't necessarily mean you need to get rid of it. All right, because guess what? You want to have that market share when we come out of it. I wrote down number 11. Take this extra time that you have available to start a new habit. With limited options to distract us right now, now would be a great time to start some healthy habits. Start an exercise routine from the house, of course. Start a new diet, start a new mindset routine. Your schedule is probably a little out of whack right now. Kids are home, running around, things are different. Going to take time to create a new habit. So why not start a new one? You're going to be out of habit anyways. Why not take this time to start a new habit? Speaking of a schedule, number 12, I wrote down, now more than ever, I want you to own the morning and win the day. Own the morning or nothing will get accomplished. If you don't own the morning, you're going to get caught up in Facebook. If you don't own the morning, you're going to get caught up in people being negative about the market. If you don't own the morning, you're going to get caught up in something. Now more than ever, you have to own the morning or nothing will get accomplished. Next, I wrote down number 13. Team leaders and brokers out there, this one's especially for you. Be prepared to double down on your value to your agents now more than ever. Be prepared to double down on your value now more than ever. Set up more frequent accountability checkpoints. Check up on them. Don't let them go a week without hearing from you. Have a value add system in place. When agents feel insecure or uneasy, they reprieve, they back away, they get concerned, they start looking for another job maybe, they start looking for another broker maybe. Give them the security they need with a plan of attack to keep them in production during this time. Encourage a strong morning routine, even if it's from home. Set hourly benchmarks to check in on contacts. Set daily targets. 3 things to accomplish that day. Daily targets. Contacts made, appointments set, appointments gone on. Right? Whatever it is, what can they do? What can you do to keep them engaged? Set evening check-in sessions. Don't just make it morning stuff. It can be later in the day. Add in mindset calls. Start a virtual book club or maybe a virtual listing mastery or buyer mastery training. Have your company make material for them to share with their clients about what's going on. What are they taking out on appointments right now? What are you presenting to a buyer and a buyer consult right now? What are you presenting to a seller and a seller presentation right now? Number 14, have a contest in the month of April. Consider having a contest in the month of April. Let the dust settle a little bit and think about what the needs of your agents and the consumers will be at that time. Always hold a contest when there's a need for something. For instance, in December, there's usually a need to keep everyone engaged and keep everyone in the belief that people are buying and selling. So guess what? We have a sales contest. In September, when everyone's thinking everyone's going back to school and nobody's listing their home for sale, we have a listing contest. So think about this. I wrote down under the contest, what type of contest should you host? Participation, accountability. It doesn't have to just be around listings and sales. Number 15, take the next 60 days to build your listing inventory. Now, I know it sounds like build the listing inventory. Come on, everyone's freaking out. If that's your focus, it will happen. Now, you may say, well, it's not the listing inventory I would like to have, but guess what? It's going to be market share. It's going to be more than most. You want to be the agent that's gangbuster busy in May and June. It's going to start with taking inventory in the month of April. Make listings your number 1 focus right now. Number 16, consider partnering with or starting your own iBuyer program. These are things that we're doing to get ahead of the coronavirus. 24 things. I'm on number 16. Consider partnering with or starting your own iBuyer program. All of a sudden, the idea of an instant sale, by the way, why is this important? Well, because all of a sudden, the idea of an instant sale becomes more attractive. Watch this. No agents walking through the house, no showings, no hassle, less time. iBuyers actually may become more attractive to consumers right now more than ever. So by the way, get your scripts ready to compete with consumers who say, yeah, we're going to go with this iBuyer. Well, what do I need to know to compete? Well, one thing you should know is that there's probably going to be a lot of iBuyer programs out there that are not buying them at the same percentage they were buying them before. Maybe before they were buying them at 90, 92% of value, and it was hard to compete with that. Maybe today they're buying them at 88% of value, maybe 85% of value. Maybe they lowered theirs to 82% of value. Be ready for that and get your scripts ready for that. And by the way, you could start your own. All you need, I wrote down, you need a sexy name, a landing page, and a marketing strategy. Okay, now, of course, you're going to need some money. You're going to need some capital, whether you get a loan from your bank or maybe you use some of your savings right now, or maybe you take a line of credit out. You just need a cool name, a landing page, and a marketing strategy. By the way, if you could turn it into an app, that would even be better. Okay. Number 17, I wrote down, use video now more than ever. Facebook Lives with updates, new listings, sales. Take advantage of social media becoming immune to the corona talk. Meaning, more people are going to want to see positive posts. More people are going to want to see something other than talk of the coronavirus. So take advantage of that. You guys know the rules. Get to 5,000 friends as fast as possible. Focus on your personal page over your business page. Tell stories. Don't just post Canva images, and go live as much as possible. Video will be now more powerful than ever on Facebook because people are going to get tired of hearing about the coronavirus. Number 18, schedule a price reduction day this Friday. We used to have a thing called Price Reduction Fridays. By the way, you might want to consider implementing that. Price Reduction Fridays. You're going to have people that need to sell. You're going to have listings. It's the absolute best day to get a price reduction. Remember, you have to think that every seller, I wrote down, every seller you have is waiting to hear from you on what's going on. If you have a seller that you haven't talked to even in a week, I promise you, they're concerned about what's going on and how this is going to affect their home sale. Every single listing you have right now is looking to hear from you on that. So if you're going to be calling them, you might as well encourage them to get a price reduction, especially if it's a listing you've had more than 30 days. 19, I wrote down, extend the length of your listing agreements with current and new listings. You get a price reduction, extend the expiration period. Tell them we're unsure of what's going on in the market right now. I'm going to need a little bit more time. Extend your listing agreements. Don't go out there signing 30, 60-day listing agreements right now. I want 4 months. I want 6 months minimum. Get that with your price reductions. It's a good reason to get an extension. I wrote down under 19, consider a corona addendum right now, addressing the issues, addressing putting things on hold. Have run boilerplate ready to go that you share with your clients so they understand, hey guys, this could happen. You know, we're pending right now, but we may not close because something could change. All right, consider implementing a corona addendum right now. I'm not an attorney. I'm not your broker for most of you. So you're going to check with an attorney, check with a broker on how to word that. I wrote down number 20, things we're doing right now. Consider renegotiating your fixed expenses. For those of you broker owners that have your own space on here, your rents, your copiers, your supplies, your phone bills. I'll tell you, I've already had conversation with a few of our vendors, and they're very much like, Jeff, we don't want to lose your business. What can we do to help? Well, you could start by maybe reducing my rent by 20% just for the next 6 months to help us get through this. It's going to impact the real estate market. Number 21, I wrote down, be prepared to know and articulate your value more than ever right now. Your value just went up, by the way. So who are you going to tell about it? Your value as a realtor just went up to the consumer. How are you going to promote it? Who are you going to get in front of? It's all going to come down to how many people you're communicating with per day. And I'm not talking cold call prospecting. It can be text, it can be email, it can be social media. Next, I wrote down number 22. Step up your accountability plan. Whatever your accountability plan is right now, it needs to be increased. Meaning if it was just 10, 15 minutes in the morning, it needs to be 10, 15 in the morning, 10, 15 in the afternoon. All right. If it was 30 minutes in the morning, it needs to be 30 minutes in the afternoon. You have to keep in mind that business is still going to happen as usual. Now, I'm not saying to be, unsensitive to this. It's not business as usual in terms of life. All right. I am sensitive to the fact that people are scared. People are fearful. People are concerned. But listings are still going to sell. Buyers are still going to buy. So yes, those two things are still business as usual to some degree. Number 23, I wrote down 23. Start thinking of ways you can stand out right now. Could you start a nonprofit? Could you partner with a nonprofit? What could you do to help those in the medical field right now? What could you do to help out first responders, police, firefighters? those that have to show up for work and fight these emergencies no matter what. Okay. I wrote down, if you want, I did a video on how to 7 ways to stand out from the crowd. You can just Google search Jeff Glover, first name, last name, stand out. Jeff Glover, stand out. It's going to be one of the top 2 or 3 videos. There's also an MMA fighter out there by the name of Jeff Glover, so his videos will probably come up too. If you just search Jeff Glover stand out, guess what's going to happen? You're going to find the video on 7 ways you can stand out right now in a crowded space. And finally, number 24, to fight through and come out ahead in this, business from your database will increase through this process, whether it's right, it may not be right this moment, but it's going to be 60, 90, 120 days from now. Business from your database will increase so long as you treat it right. I wrote down, if I was coaching you, I would ask you, what is your plan to improve your value to that group right now? What are you going to change in your messaging? When is the last time you went back and looked at what you send out? Are you due for maybe a physical mailer, right? Maybe it's been 3 months since you sent out a mailer. Normally you send out, a baseball schedule. Obviously those are all junk now. Maybe you're going to send out a letter, important announcement on what's going on in the real estate market. By the way, database and sphere of influence is our number 1 source of business today. It was number 5 just 4 years ago. So at our summit this past January down in Orlando, we spent 3 full days together talking about how to build a massive database, how to add value to it, and how to get the best ROI from it. Now, we had agents from all over the country that flew in for this. They spent $500, $1,000, $1,500 to get there. And we also have agents that have been buying this. We put it online and we put it for sale. I'm not going to sell it to you now, so don't think I'm trying to sell you something. We put it online, we put it for sale. 3 full days of all the content for like $200, $300. Everyone that's on this right now is going to get it for free. All right. We're all facing tough, difficult times. There's a lot of changes happening in the market. So if you're wondering what's that gift you're going to give away, I'm going to give you those 3 days for free. There's no catch. Now, I guess you could call this a catch because you have to go get it. All right. Because we're not going to email it out to you. To get the 3 full days, which this is perfect time, right? I don't care whether it's this weekend, you space it out, whatever. We're going to talk about how we're going to get it to you, but you have to join our inner circle. It's the Glover U Inner Circle. It's free to join. There's no cost. There's no membership affiliated with it. So when we're done with this live, just search into Facebook spacebar, Glover U Inner Circle, click to join. It's free. Once you're in there, we're going to be sharing it with that group. That group is going to get our 3 full day summit that just took place, not even a couple months ago. The whole conversation was around how to build a massive database, how to add value to it, and how to get the most out of it. We've been selling them like hotcakes since we had the summit, and I'm going to give that to you for free. But you have to be in the inner circle to get it. Again, that's Glover U Inner Circle. Okay? So here's the deal. We're in a different time right now. Nobody's really clear on what's going to happen, what's going to change, what we need to do differently. All I can tell you is what we're going to do. All right, I'm on the ground with you every day. I'm still going on appointments. I'm still getting contracts signed. Remember, it's okay if your conversion goes down. The person that comes out on top is going to be the one that takes these 24 points, goes back and revisits them, makes them part of the daily routine, make them part of your daily schedule, and see what you can do to take action on them. If you would like to continue joining us on this journey every Wednesday at 11:30 Eastern Standard Time, right here at the same link, 11:30 Eastern Standard Time. We'll probably have another update for you between now and then, but if I don't see you, I hope everyone not only makes it through this okay, stays healthy, but comes out ahead of the rest of the competition. Hopefully we'll see you next Wednesday at 11:30, and I'll see you guys in the Glover U Inner Circle for the free summit. All right, take it easy.
Thank you for taking your time to join Jeff today on the Live Unreal with Glover U podcast. To get started on having an unreal business, take the real estate self-assessment. After you complete the assessment, a member of Glover U will get on a call with you to create an action plan to improve your score. Go to www.gloveru.com/self. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe. Search for Live Unreal with Glover U on iTunes, Podbean, or Spotify, and subscribe today. Until next time, remember, you have to be concerned with what is happening today, but that doesn't mean it determines your results.